funniest moments in MMA and boxing. It's a sport known to have two aggressive opponents get into heated debates and then take it inside the ring to let it all hang out in a battle royale that leaves the other person knocked out, in pain, or just plain confused. But what you are about to see next may just change your perspective on MMA and boxing. If you are new, as we take a look at 10 funniest moments in MMA and boxing. Number 1. The Kiss of Death. So here we have what we would assume to be a normal press conference with two opposing fighters getting together to take some pictures and all that good stuff. But what we get is much more than that. As the two get into a nice and heated debate, the pressure intensifies. They get right into each other's face, and out of nowhere, the fighter on the right goes in for a quick kiss on the lips. This was a bold move and quite unbelievable. The embarrassment even went further as the guy went on to win the match. Number 2. Can't stand up. When you are hit with a force that can leave you quite confused, you may tend to just stay down. Not this guy. After being hit so hard that he fell like a log being cut down, he then begins to start airboxing. Normally a fight like that would have ended, but no, it continued. Stumbling left and right, the fighter tried his best to stay on 2 feet, but in the end, the ground called him home. Number 3. No round 2 for you. The fight was great and short, very short. During this fight, the opponent was knocked out. Sleep! No more fighting for this one today. It only went for 1 round, and as the ref and others surrounded the fighter in efforts to wake him, the ring girl happily starts doing her strut across the cage, holding up the round 2 mark. Sorry, love, but there will not be a round 2 here. Number 4. Rope-a-dope. Well, the title says enough. During this fight, the fighter did his best to act as though he was unfazed by the epic rounds. But after his showboating chest pump, this fighter took an effort at leaving the ring and failed miserably, embarrassingly falling unconscious as he attempted to leave the ring. Number 5. Right in the kisser. The fight was getting even more heated as these two danced around the ring. It was like watching something out of a fairy tale. The smaller guy diligently taking on the much more massive and larger guy. You would think from the looks of it, you would know what was about to happen, but there's a reason that people call it a glass jaw. Right when there was a clear opening, the fighter takes a strong left hook and shatters the jaw of the opponent, putting him down to the ground, leaving him crying out in pain. Yikes! Number 6. Watch my feet, not my finger. This fighter chose a rather simple distraction. Every fighter knows to never let their guard down when you are in the ring. Fighters know that the opponent will do things to lower the other's guard and find an opportunity to strike. Bringing the opponent's focus to the fighter's middle finger taunt, he breaks his focus, and in that split second, a heavy left kick is delivered and knocks the fighter completely out. It was so massive that even the ref is seen fly-kneeing the opponent off of him. Number 7. Why are you hitting yourself? It's bound to happen. Some absolutely unlucky soul was going to get caught on camera mistakenly striking himself instead of his opponent. In this case, the guy almost takes himself out of the fight altogether, coming close to a self-TKO. Number 8. Dancing boxers. We all know that boxers have great footwork, and when one is punched this hard, the dancing commences. During this fight, the opponent gets surprised by a hook that takes the life, soul, and balance out of him all at once. He was knocked back and flailing about as he was trying to grab onto that imaginary support bar. Number 9. We absolutely have no clue. With absolutely no fear or sense in his body, we find Jerry Lewis in a boxing match with, well, himself. Dancing around the ring and throwing some of the most absolutely pathetic attempts at a jab that anyone has quite possibly seen, we frankly can't decide that if he needs help or if he took some help before the match. Whatever the case may be, it leaves the crowd absolutely breaking their guts at the laughter that ensued during this, well, what do we call this? Number 10. Don't touch me. Fist of fury and quickness. After one of the fighters slaps the back of the other's head, he quickly delivers a punch right into the other's face, and it was fast as lightning. This is a good example of keeping your hands to yourself before having to put your hands on your opponent. What seems to be a normal press conference and matchup comes with a hilarious strike back that sends the fighter into a slight daze. Kissing, dancing, cheap shots, and crazy twists. You would think that this was the beginning of an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Go ahead and pick your lungs back up from all that laughing, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. That's all the time we have for now. Thanks for watching, and be sure to catch many, many more videos. See you next time.